Growing up, I didn't like soup like that. Most Jamaicans love soup though, and it's really growing on me. Today we are make some Saturday soup. I've got some cow skin and chicken foot, and I had a lot of leftover veggies, so I'm going to use them up in this delicious recipe. The 8th of January is the 2-year anniversary of the first video published on this channel. Welcome to Cooking with Nick. Today I'm doing red pea soup. Now we're going to add thyme. Let's make another pot of soup. I'm skipping the dumpling. Back then, feed and teach was Cooking with Nick. And look a bit more attractive. So we're checking back on our pot. It's really thick, but not. I rewatch videos sometimes whenever I'm cooking. I guess we can call this red pea soup as well. This is 2 cups of red peas. I'm going to be making quite a bit of soup. I'm just going to give this a proper wash and add some water. This pot should be big enough to hold everything. You can soak peas overnight, but I don't think that's something I have ever done in my life. Add an entire bulb of peeled garlic. It will cook out, so you can leave them whole. Ginger, about 2 inch, sliced and smashed. 2 green scotchy. A few stalks of scallion. I'm just cutting so they fit in the pot. Fresh thyme because dried thyme is a scam. About a tablespoon of dried pimento or allspice. I'm also going to add 2 medium onions. Just going to dice them rough. Just like the garlic, the onion will cook and dissolve by the time the soup is done. Most Jamaican soups usually call for pumpkin. It's one of the ways we use up a subpar pumpkin. Throw it in a pot of soup for some texture and color. I'm adding this now so it will cook and break down in the soup. Give it a little body. The quality of this pumpkin is actually really good though. Time to get this on the fire, but before that I'm going to add a bit of salt to get the flavors going. I'm not trying to season this now. This goes on medium heat and I think I need a bit more water. I'm going to let that come up to a boil. This is the cow skin that I got. Depending on the age of the cow the skin came from, it can be very tough and take a good amount of time to cook. This came from a pretty young bull, so it will probably cook relatively quick. I'm going to cut this into bite-sized pieces. I'm using a heavy-duty kitchen shear to snip these up really quick. Sometimes there's still a bit of meat connected to the skin, but this piece doesn't have much of that. Cow skin is delicious in soups. It has a slightly muted beef flavor, but it adds so much richness to the soup, and I like that gelatinous texture. I'm going to give this a quick wash. Set that aside and grab the chicken feet. We also call these hot steppas. That's about 8 feet. Most times you get hot steppas, they won't be completely cleaned and dressed, so I'm going to give these a pedicure. Kitchen shears also work well here. Both cow skin and chicken feet are high in collagen, which is great for your hair and skin. They will also make the soup rock solid if you refrigerate it. Alright, I'm going to get rid of those clippings and wash these. These are nice and clean, so I can finally get them in the pot. This is looking so good already. The hot steppers, cow skin and red peas should finish cooking around the same time, so let's give that some time. Alright, I got some veggies here. Some of these are leftover stuff I had in the fridge. This is cocoa. Not my favorite veg, but it's good in soup. I made some delicious ital stew the other day, so most of these veggies are leftovers from that. That was a really good video by the way, so go ahead and check it out when you're done with this one. I'm going to be using green banana in this soup as well. Green banana is great in soup. I have a lot of variety here, so I'm going to be using smaller quantities of each veg. Half a chocha should be good. I'm going to cut everything into bite-sized pieces. I'm keeping the banana skin on for texture, nutrients, and it looks good. I'm not sure there's a reason to peel green banana for soup or stews. These bananas are really mature, so I'm going to have to use them up before they start to get ripe. This is dashid and it's one of my favorite starchy root veg. It's great in soup. This is a small piece of yellow yam left over from that ital stew the other day. Cocoa, just a couple slices. And finally carrot. I love this. This has been going for a little bit. It's been simmering for about half an hour. The cow skin is cooked through and it's a lot softer than I expected. This is soft. The peas might need a little bit more time, but we have time. I'm going to go ahead and add all the veggies. Yup, that's loaded. But we're going to add some more liquid soon, so we are good. While that pot is simmering, I'm going to blend and juice a coconut. It's definitely cheaper and easier to empty a can into the soup, but the flavor would not even come close. I'm just going to chop these up so my blender doesn't choke. Add all of that milk to the pot. That's one beautiful pot of soup. There's just a few things left to do with this soup, but for now I'm going to let it simmer. This is going to reduce quite a bit before it's done, so I'm going to top it off with a bit of water. Alright, let's make some spinners. These are just noodle-like dumplings we put in soup. That's a little less than a cup of flour. I'm just going to add enough water to form a dough. Spinners are just flour and water. The soup should be flavorful enough to carry the dumplings. That's a little bit sticky, but we are going to run with it. Spinners are fairly easy to make. Just grab a small piece of the dough and rub between your palms to form a noodle-like dumpling. These will thicken the soup and give it a bit more body. Spinners are really satisfying. This soup has a lot of solids already, so I'm not trying to overdo any one thing. Yup, we're almost there and this smells so good already. Now is the perfect time to leave a like and a comment, and if you're liking what I'm cooking, hit that subscribe button. Next I'm going to add some chicken noodle. Two of them. This is like a soup base. These contain some amount of salt, so you want to season the soup after you add these. I added a bit of salt at the start to get the flavors going, but I was very conservative. The noodles in this will also help to thicken the soup a bit. You have to be careful because the chicken noodle might clump together. You can mix it in a small amount of the soup or some cold water before adding to prevent that from happening. Everything is cooked tender, especially the chicken foot. I'm going to give this a taste. Nice, that's extremely flavorful. This is optional, but I find that doing this gives the soup a really good texture and the flavors pop more. I'm taking out some of the solids and a bit of the liquid. I'm trying to get most of the red peas and I'm avoiding the chicken feet. I'm going to blend all of this into a paste. This is going to add a slightly creamy texture to the soup, especially the peas, and also bring out the flavors a bit more. I'm trying to get everything into the pot. Yup, you can even see the difference already. I could blend a bit more to give this a more thicker consistency, but I don't want this too much like a cream soup. I'm just trying to up the flavor and texture a bit. I really thought the pumpkin would break down completely, but it held up pretty well. I can still spot solid pieces. Alright, that's basically done. Just needs a few more minutes of simmering on low heat. While that's doing its thing, I'm going to make a garnish. I'm going to make the same garnish I used in that very first video. It's the anniversary and all of that, so it's kind of a callback. Fresh scallion is great at the end of soup, so I'm just going to slice some really thin. I have some ice water that I'm going to place this in so they curl up. Set that aside. Alright, the soup has been bubbling for a good 10 minutes and it smells so good. I thought the red peas would have made this much darker. I was really going for that, but I'm happy with this color. Before I remove this from the fire, I'm going to give it a final taste to make sure everything is good. Really flavorful, but that could use a bit of spice. This is one slice fresh scotchy. Adding scotch bonnet fresh gives more of the scotchy flavor. The longer this cooks, the more muted the flavor will be, but you will still have that heat. What you can do is serve fresh scotchy with your soup, so whoever is having it can add it at their own leisure. That's probably the best way to do it. That's a lot of peas. Nice. Too bad they didn't show their colors. I used a cup in the first video, but I'm really trying to go in with this soup, so I'm going to use a much bigger bowl. This soup has a lot of stuff and I'm trying to get a mix of everything. I don't like cocoa, but I'm having that as well. Alright, I'm going to dig in, but first I have to top this off with the garnish. It's nice and curly now. And that's it, a delicious bowl of cow skin and hot steppas soup. Time to dig in. I really love how banana with the skin tastes. All those veggies have absorbed the flavor of the cow skin. That has a really soft gelatinous texture and that's really satisfying. The hot steppers are also perfectly cooked. They fall off the bone really easy as you eat them. Wow, this was great, squad. Remember to like, share and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Turn on that notification bell. I had a lot of fun making this. Consider becoming a patron if you want to give us strength and get early access to content. I have a ton of Jamaican recipes, so check out this playlist or that video that YouTube thinks is right for you. Catch you in the next one.